Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick.
I'm Ian.
And today we're talking about streaming versus vinyl. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check all those out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for our merch page. There's links for the Vinyl Den Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlist that we put together, and also the Patreon page. So make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoy the episode, make sure you give us the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we release new episodes. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, analog versus digital. We've already had that conversation. We've already talked about that kind of at length, I think, on this
In
channel
various
also.
different ways, too.
But that's not really kind of the angle we're taking with this one. It's mainly like there seems to be this rift between people that love vinyl records and people that stream music. And the interactions between the two I've always found it kind of interesting because I think a lot of people do both.
I do. I mean, I've moved more towards CDs and vinyl rather than vinyl and streaming, but I still pay for Spotify. I still stream stuff. So I don't know why there is such a division between the two.
Between the two. It's interesting though, because I see a lot of times I'll talk about streaming on the channel here, and every time I always get some kind of comment like, "Oh, you better watch out talking about streaming. You're gonna have people, leaving bad comments and things like that." And sometimes you do, but I've seen that not only here on the channel. I'm in several Facebook groups, around vinyl records. Actually, I'm also in a couple of CD groups on Facebook and things too. So, but it's interesting to watch that kind of interaction between people that, really think that vinyl is the only way to go. And I kind of lump a lot of that people into that's probably the same category of people that were really upset with, MoFi Gate when that came out, that MoFi has been using digital steps in their process and things like that. It seems really like that's the hardcore vinyl kind of collector, and then there's this other kind of aspect of it that's, people just they just want to listen to music, and that's kind of all they want to do, and they don't really care if it's vinyl or CD or streaming.
It's not necessarily about the quality or the sound quality. It's just about having that available.
The access to the music.
Yeah, I would say most people probably fall in the middle because we live in an age where I don't see anyone only listening to music at home.
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of portability to your music, whether it be CDs or streaming.
Streaming, yeah.
And streaming is just the easiest for the most part. So I don't see why there would have to be a all or nothing with either one. And I think the most people, it's not. It's just the vocal minorities on both sides are the ones we're hearing about.
Yeah.
That's where the division's coming from.
I think you brought up a good point that you're doing something that I think a lot of other people have been kind of doing lately also, which is like getting away from streaming services for a number of reasons. Like I know a lot of people are upset that, some artists are pulling their music off of certain platforms because of disagreements with their labels, and that music gets pulled off it for that reason, or there's a whole host of reasons why music gets pulled down off of streaming services. So you got that. Is one big reason, or one reason why some people kind of move away from streaming services. Another reason is sound quality. You do get a better sound quality from a CD. A lot of times you'll get better sound quality from a record. Sometimes, depending on the streaming services. I think if you go with like lossless, if you're using a streaming service that has lossless audio, it's probably going to sound better in a lot of instances than your record will, but it's still not going to sound better than a CD.
Right.
So I think there's lots of different reasons why people have been moving away from streaming services. Cost is another issue.
I would say the lossless sites are a lot more expensive than, say, a Spotify or an Apple Music, even though Apple Music is moving towards lossless.
A vast majority of the music on Apple Music is lossless already. But if you're looking at just pure economics, so people are having to worry about putting gas in their gas tank and food on the table, it's a lot easier to cut that, $10 or $15 a month you're paying for a streaming service when, some people out there still have their CD collections and they can go back to that and, listen to CDs in their car or at home or wherever. I think you're right. I think a vast majority of people are going to fall in the middle with that one. Yes, they do love vinyl records, but they also stream. And I did a poll in our Facebook group not too long ago. That's kind of how it fell. I asked everyone how, what do they use primarily to listen to music? And a majority of people, obviously it's a vinyl record group, so majority of people, of course, are going to say vinyl records, but they also said streaming. And there were some people that were vinyl only. There were some people that were vinyl and CD only, and kind of cut streaming completely out. But like I said before, it's a really interesting interaction between the two groups in social media that, for the most part, like I said, everyone's just here to enjoy music and talk about music and show the stuff that they like without, starting kind of this disagreement in these interesting kind of ways.
War of the formats.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Let the big industries do that, because that's what they do. They've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
We'll just enjoy what we can get in terms of higher quality and convenience.
Yeah. I know one thing for sure. Streaming isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to be like the main format moving forward until they figure out what the next, great thing is. But
I think there's enough room in the world for all of it. My biggest fear is that physical media will eventually go away.
Yeah.
But as long as there's a high quality version that we can have, where we don't have to rely on a streaming service to have it, as an option, because like you were saying, licensing fees and everything else, music's going to come and go. So if there's an artist that you like, they're on streaming, they may not be on streaming forever, and down the road you may want to listen to them. So as long as there's an option where we can have copies of that stuff in high quality, I'm okay with losing the physical media, but I'd rather not. I'd rather be able to have some physical thing to hold and look at and enjoy. I don't think we're going to, hopefully, but
I think the big thing I think with streaming is, at least for me, is I use it as a way to, listen to stuff before I buy it. I generally, and sometimes I do use it to discover new artists. Mainly when I discover new artists, it's through word of mouth or from, other YouTube channels or videos or articles online.
First thing I do is go to Spotify and look that artist up, and then I listen to a handful of tracks.
Yeah.
That's what I've been using Spotify for primarily lately.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, looking at new artists that you've never heard of before and saying, oh, maybe I want to buy their stuff, you know.
It's a useful tool.
It is, absolutely.
Well, that's all we got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. Are you one of those hardcore vinyl people, or are you kind of, like I said, kind of fall in the middle and enjoy everything? But let us know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us a little thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all we got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Keep on spinning. Peace.